Vietnam jungle, 1968. Field medic Daniel Park treated a wounded Viet Cong soldier. Enemy combatant. Bleeding out. Everyone said leave him. Let him die. Orders were clear. Treat Americans only. But Daniel couldn't watch someone die when he had the skills to save them. So he treated the enemy. Stopped the bleeding. Saved his life. Got court-martialed for it. Dishonorable discharge. Lost everything. 50 years later, his grandson learned that saving the wrong person the right way is still the right choice. Dr. James Park worked the ER at Metro General Hospital in Chicago, 32 years old, 6th year as an attending physician, emergency medicine, the chaos, the trauma, the constant life and death decisions. He loved it, lived for it. But the system was broken. Insurance companies denying care. Patients avoiding treatment because of costs, people dying because they couldn't afford to live. James hated it, but he was just one doctor, couldn't change the system, could only help one patient at a time. Tuesday night, 11 p.m., slow night, then the ambulance brought him in. Male, late 20s, unconscious, severe abdominal pain, possible appendicitis, no ID, no insurance card, nothing. The paramedic pulled James aside, found him in an alley, no wallet, no phone, no way to pay. You know the drill. James knew the drill. Uninsured patients got stabilized and transferred to county hospital. That was policy. That was how the system worked. Let county deal with the uninsured. But James examined the patient, felt his abdomen, rock hard, tender, classic signs. This wasn't just appendicitis. This was a rupture, maybe already septic. Transfer would take 30 minutes. This guy didn't have 30 minutes. He had maybe 20 before septic shock killed him. James made a decision. Prep OR2, he told the nurse. We're going now. The nurse hesitated. Doctor, he has no insurance. Admin won't approve. I don't care, James said. He's dying. Prep the OR. But Dr. Park. Do it now, James said, his voice firm. That's an order. They prepped. James scrubbed in, opened the patient up, ruptured appendix, just like he thought. Severe infection, septic. Another hour and he'd be dead. James worked for 90 minutes, removed the appendix, cleaned the infection, closed him up, saved his life. The patient went to recovery, stable, alive. James went to write his notes. The hospital administrator found him at 2 a.m. Dr. Park. My office. Now. James followed him, knew what was coming. The administrator sat behind his desk, face hard. Do you know how much that surgery just cost? James shrugged. 20,000? 30? Try 42,000, the administrator said. $42,000 for a patient with no insurance. No way to pay. No approval. James stayed quiet. You violated protocol, the administrator continued. You were supposed to stabilize and transfer, not operate. I saved his life, James said. You cost this hospital $42,000, the administrator shot back. Money will never recover. Money that comes out of our budget. Money that affects every department. I saved a life, James repeated. That was my job. Your job is to follow hospital policy, the administrator said. This is your second violation this year. I'm suspending you for 2 weeks. No pay. And if it happens again, you're fired. Understood? James nodded. Left the office. Went home. 2 weeks suspension. No pay. He had rent due, student loans, his own bills. But he didn't regret it. That patient was alive. That was worth 2 weeks' pay. 8 years passed. James kept working, kept saving lives, kept violating policy when policy meant someone died. Got suspended 3 more times, got written up constantly. But he didn't care. He'd become a doctor to save lives, not to protect hospital profits. In 2024, James was 40 years old, still in the ER, still fighting the system, still broke from student loans and suspensions. One Monday morning, the hospital staff got an email. All personnel report to main conference room. 2 p.m., mandatory meeting, new CEO announcement. James showed up, exhausted from a night shift, Just wanted to go home. The room filled. Nurses, doctors, administrators, everyone. The board chairman walked to the podium. "Thank you all for coming," he said. "As you know, our previous CEO retired last month. After an extensive search, we found someone extraordinary, someone with a unique vision for healthcare, someone who understands this hospital from a very personal perspective. Please welcome our new CEO, Michael Rivera." A man walked onto the stage, late 30s, expensive suit, confident, successful. He looked familiar. James couldn't place him. Michael took the microphone. "Thank you," he said. "I'm honored to lead this institution. But before I talk about the future, I need to talk about the past. 8 years ago, I was dying in an alley, homeless, addicted, hopeless. An ambulance brought me here. I had no insurance, no ID, no way to pay. Under hospital policy, I should have been transferred to county. But one doctor refused. One doctor said my life was worth more than policy. One doctor operated on me without approval, saved my life when everyone said to let me go." James felt his heart stop. Michael looked directly at him. "That doctor is in this room. Dr. James Park. Stand up, please." Every head turned, stared at James. James stood, legs shaking. "You," Michael said, his voice thick with emotion. "You saved my life 8 years ago. I was nobody, a homeless addict with a ruptured appendix. You had no reason to help me, every reason not to, but you did it anyway. You got suspended for saving me, lost 2 weeks' pay, got written up, hurt your career, all because you chose my life over hospital policy." Michael walked down from the stage, stood in front of James. "I woke up 3 days later," Michael said. "Alive, confused. A nurse told me what you did, told me you'd violated protocol, got suspended, risked your job. For me, a stranger. That changed everything." James didn't know what to say. "I went to rehab," Michael continued. "Got clean, got sober, stayed sober, got my GED, went to community college, then university, then business school, MBA from Northwestern. Spent 8 years building a career in healthcare administration, learning the system, understanding the business, all so I could come back here, all so I could fix the system that almost killed me." He pulled out papers. "As CEO, my first action is this. Effective immediately, no patient will be transferred due to insurance status. If someone needs emergency care, they get it. No questions asked." The room erupted. Applause, shock, disbelief. "We'll figure out payment later," Michael said. "Set up payment plans, apply for assistance, find grants, but we will never ever turn away someone who needs help. Never again." He looked at James. "You taught me that 8 years ago. That lives matter more than money, that doing the right thing is worth the cost. Now I'm making that the official policy of this hospital." Michael handed James an envelope. "What's this?" James asked. "Open it." James opened it. A letter. Official hospital letterhead. Dr. James Park. "Effective immediately, you are appointed Chief of Emergency Medicine. Salary $250,000 annually. Full benefits. And a retroactive bonus of $100,000 to cover the wages you lost from suspensions for saving lives." James couldn't breathe. "You've been punished for 8 years for doing the right thing," Michael said. "That ends today. You're not getting suspended anymore. You're getting promoted, because this hospital needs doctors who put patients first. Doctors like you." The room stood, applauded. James's colleagues hugged him, congratulated him. After the meeting, Michael and James sat alone in an office. "Why?" James asked. "Why come back here?" "Because you gave me a second chance," Michael said. "I was a homeless addict, worthless in society's eyes. You saw me as a human being worth saving. That changed my life. Now I want to change this hospital. Make sure what you did for me becomes standard practice, not a violation." James wiped his eyes. "I just did my job." "You did more than your job," Michael said. "You risked your career, your income, your future, for a stranger. That's not a job. That's a calling. And this hospital needs more people with that calling. 6 months later, Metro General implemented the new policy. No patient turned away. Payment plans for everyone. Assistance programs expanded. In 6 months, they treated 800 uninsured patients, saved hundreds of lives, only recovered 60% of costs. But the board didn't care because Michael convinced them, showed them the data, the community impact, the lives saved, the families kept together. The mathematical equation changed. Lives became more valuable than dollars. 1 year later, a young woman came to James's office, crying, thanking him. "You saved my husband," she said. "Last year, he had no insurance, ruptured spleen. You operated anyway. He's alive. We have a baby now, a family, because you didn't turn him away." "I didn't turn you away," James said. "That's the new policy." "Thank you," she said, "for fighting for it, for fighting for us." James realized something then. He'd been suspended 5 times, lost thousands in wages, hurt his career. But those 5 suspensions saved 5 lives, and those 5 lives created families, futures, dreams. All because he'd refused to let policy kill people. All because Michael came back and changed everything. 5 years after Michael became CEO, Metro General was ranked top hospital in Illinois for patient care. Not for profit, not for efficiency, for care, for seeing people as humans, for treating everyone regardless of ability to pay. Michael stood at a healthcare conference. 500 administrators. He told his story, the alley, the appendix, the doctor who saved him, the policy change, the results. "When I was homeless and dying," Michael said, "one doctor chose my life over hospital profit. That choice created this." He showed slides. The data: 800 lives saved in year 1, 2,000 in year 2, 5,000 by year 5. Families kept together, communities strengthened, lives rebuilt. One doctor's choice to violate policy created a movement that saved thousands. That's the power of putting people first. The audience stood, applauded. Some cried. After the speech, a hospital administrator approached Michael. "I can't do this at my hospital," he said. "We'd lose too much money. We'd go bankrupt." "You won't," Michael said. "We haven't. We found grants, expanded fundraising, cut administrative costs, stopped paying executives millions, reinvested in care. You can do it. You just have to choose people over profit." The administrator looked uncertain. Michael handed him a card. "Call me. I'll show you how. This works, but you have to want it to work. You have to believe lives matter more than money." 10 years after that surgery, James stood in the same ER, now as chief, watching his residents work, teaching them. One resident came to him with a question. "There's a patient, no insurance, needs emergency surgery. Admin is saying transfer to county. What do I do?" James smiled. "What do you think you should do?" "Save them," the resident said, "even if it costs the hospital money, even if admin says no." "Then save them," James said. "That's the policy now. That's who we are." The resident smiled, went to prep the OR. James watched, thought about Michael, about the choice he'd made 8 years ago, about how saving one homeless addict changed an entire hospital, changed an entire system. Your choice to save someone everyone says to let go, to violate policy for the right reason, to choose life over profit. You have no idea what you're creating, what systems you're changing, what lives you're saving decades from now. So make the choice. Save the person. Violate the policy. Risk the consequences. Because some things are worth fighting for, and human life is worth more than any policy. Here's my question for you. What policy are you following that's killing someone? What rule are you obeying that's wrong? What system needs you to break it? Break it. Save the person. Change the system. You have no idea what you're creating, what CEO you're saving, what hospital you're transforming, what thousands of lives you're touching, all because you refuse to let policy kill someone. If this story moved you, leave a comment about a time you broke a rule to do the right thing. Subscribe if you believe in doctors who put patients over profits. Share this story because someone watching works in a broken system right now. Show them one person can change it. We save lives over policy. That's what heroes do. Now go be someone's James. Go break the rule.